Coming up on CPTV, as CPHS implements new safety protocols, we take a look at the effectiveness of anonymous tip lines. Lake Michigan's rising water level forces closures at Indiana's First National Park, and the pressure is on as the winter sports teams near their respective postseasons. CPTV is up next.
Countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Sarah Frey.
And I'm Zach Jones.
Welcome to CPTV. Kirsten Robinson will have your 5-day weather forecast, and Ramsey Harkness will bring us CP Sports highlights.
Here's what's happening at Crown Point High School. It's no secret student and staff safety is the #1 priority at CPHS. To that end, the Crown Point Community School Corporation mandates all schools in the district to utilize an anonymous tip line. However, since its inception, many wonder just how effective this service is. CPTV's Jenna Milosh joins us now from the newsroom with more.
Thanks, Zach. In recent years, the Crown Point Community School Corporation has instituted various anonymous tip line services in order to ensure school safety for students and faculty by alerting authorities of potential threats. Though it has now been years after their initial conceptions, the impact of these anonymous tip line services has been
our size is that we want to encourage everyone that this is a team effort, that this is truly a community effort. So we encourage all of our students every week that, hey, if you see something, say something. Please let somebody know so that it can be dealt with or handled, or that student can be helped.
Tip line services have become common nationwide in the form of services such as Safe to Tell. According to educationweek.org, Safe to Tell tip lines fielded roughly 692 total tips regarding potential school attacks alone across the country during the 2017-2018 school year. In Colorado, researchers should dial 663-4885 and then hit 9. That's 663-4885 and then dial 9. From the newsroom, I'm Jenna Milosh. Back to you.
If you have any information about a threat to our safety or concern for another student, you can make an anonymous report by downloading the new Safe Schools Alert app, or as Jenna said, by calling the tip line. Plastic straws are one of the top 5 contributors to plastic marine waste, with millions of these straws being used every day in the U.S. alone. With California leading the way of plastic straw alternatives in January of 2019, paper and metal reusable straws have been making their way into NWI businesses ever since.
The less plastic that we're finding in our lakes and in our oceans and on our beaches, and every little straw counts.
An aquatic ecologist from Purdue University Northwest, Leslie Dorworth, believes that the alternatives to plastic straws are beneficial.
Plastic straws can last over 200 plus years in the environment, so that's longer than theoretically we will ever be here for a single-use item.
But the longevity of these movements will be determined by whether or not people come together to make this more of a movement instead of a trend. For CPTV, I'm Armando Bracco.
Most of us recognize there are countless restaurants, fast food establishments, and grocery stores throughout the region. But areas designated as food deserts are noted for their lack of food availability to the community members who live in these areas. Here with more is CPTV's Brianna Morton.
Many towns in northwest Indiana are food deserts. As we look up and down the roads of cities like Maryville and Gary, we can see the lack of proper food sources goes on for Community Advocates of Northern Indiana is a local nonprofit that works with the community. Tracy Lewis is the director.
There are a variety of different things that create a food desert. The challenge here is this is also a transportation desert. This is also a job desert. There are huge economic implications when you talk about food insecurity. So you need to address those kinds of things.
Towns in northwest Indiana are experiencing food scarcity, such as Gary and Maryville. As we look around, we can see that it'll take many lawmakers and regular people to work together to fix this issue. For CPTV, I'm Brianna Morton.
Kirsten, over the weekend we were supposed to see a fair amount of snow, but I don't remember seeing any.
Yeah, Zach, we were supposed to see some pretty serious snow over the weekend, but it never really came. So here we are, it's the end of January, and everyone keeps asking me, are we going to see any real snow this winter? Well, not this week or really for the foreseeable future. Let's take a look at what you can expect for the rest of today. just a dreary, cloudy day out there right now. And I expect that to continue into the evening with a temp of 30 degrees at noon, 33 degrees at 3 degrees with a low of 29. And over your weekend, we may see some light snow overnight on Saturday with the daytime high around 40. We'll probably see less than an inch of accumulation in northwest Indiana. On Sunday, the snow will clear out and the temperature will rise to a high of 43. On Monday, we could see some light snow again, but not enough to really have any impact. That's your 5-day weather forecast. Enjoy this so far mild winter. Zach, Sarah?
Thanks, Kirsten. The Indiana Dunes was named our nation's 61st national park last year.
And it's at risk. As you can see here, Lake Michigan's recent record high tides are causing erosion among the Indiana Dunes beach shoreline. It has taken away this riverwalk and taken away 16 feet of rubble and sand into the middle of the lake.
We're experiencing a lot of erosion because of high lake levels, and it's basically made some of our beaches smaller. It's made access to some of those beaches more difficult. And it's actually a natural process, and it happens all the time. But this seems to be the worst year because the lake is almost at historic high levels.
Indiana University professor Dr. Ken Schoon studied the Indiana lakeshore for his book Calumet Beginnings and cites the erosion is now a natural occurrence and believes older generations could be to blame.
There are some things that we shouldn't have done in the past. One of the things that was done in the past was for people to steal sand from the bottom of Lake Michigan. They had boats that had vacuum pumps. They put the mouth down onto the sand, so it was pumping sand up, and they would fill the cargo.
Spend a lot of time on our boat at Mount Baldy, and what we've noticed over the past couple of years is that as the lake levels have risen, the beach has become much more narrow. 5-10 years ago, it was probably more like 20 feet of beach. Today, it's more like 5 feet before you get to the dune.
There was nowhere to sit with my friends, and it was always really crowded everywhere on the beach because the beach was so tiny because the water was so much higher than it normally was.
The girls' basketball team is looking to close out their second undefeated regular season. The wrestling team has its eyes on their second consecutive sectional title, and the boys' basketball team has a last-minute change of venue over the weekend. Here's Ramsey Harkness with your CP Sports highlights.
The 9-8 South Bend Washington Panthers, led by senior forward Jylan Petty, met CP in the Colonel John Wheeler Middle School gym Saturday night after some technical difficulties with one of the hoops in the CPHS gymnasium. South Bend dominated from the start, with the Dogs getting into foul trouble early and the Panthers knocking down a high percentage of their free throws. The struggle for the Dogs would continue despite solid play from junior guard Ty Smith, as they would be down 38-23 at half. The Dogs fought back after half with 23 points in the fourth quarter, but it wasn't enough as sophomore guard Drew Adzia's last-second shot was blocked and the Dogs fell 61-59, moving their record to 7-8. Despite Smith's team high of 23 points.
It feels really good that all my hard work and dedication had a positive outcome on the team, and I have a really good feeling about postseason.
Well, I'm excited because this is my 19th year of coaching, so every year I just am really excited to have a chance to compete in this area. It's an honor, really, to compete in such a competitive area of the state. I have a really good team this year. We have a chance of making it out, being the third team, making it out of sectionals, hopefully, and that's what we're looking towards. We didn't have our best meet tonight, but it's still over 109, which still puts us at those top team scores in the state. But we are disappointed with the 109 because we know that we can do a lot better.
The girls' next meet is at Maryville this Saturday at 1 p.m. And that's it for sports.
It's not going to be all of just like the most popular buildings, but it's going to be the ones that we found the most interesting information on. A lot of the QR codes is what we're hoping to kind of be using the modern technology. And then through there also be able to kind of look back and say, hey, that's a lot of really cool stuff happened in this location, and cool to try to check out that arc in which, the history of Crown Point happened.
While the project has no real confirmation date, the Chamber is planning to open the project in late spring to early summer.
Project on sustainable architecture. I've loved architecture ever since I was a kid, and it's what I'm going to college for. And I think the symposium is going to look great on my college resume.
That's it for today's show. Thanks for taking the time to tune in and for being with us.
Remember, you can view all of our past episodes on crowntownmedia.org.
You can also follow us on Twitter at CrownTMedia.
For Ramsey Harkness, Kirsten Robinson, and all of us here at CPTV, I'm Zach Jones.
And I'm Sarah Frey.
Take care.